By July of 1933, Route 2, now 17, reached Route 4. A Cloverleaf interchange was constructed so vehicles could move swiftly between the two highways without stopping. Originally, state engineers wanted Route 2 to follow Farview Avenue to Route 4 and construct a Cloverleaf interchange there with Route 4. But property values were too high, so planners decided to build the interchange just west of Farview Avenue in a swampy area near Sprout Brook. It appears that construction on Route 2 north of the interchange was halted temporarily during the summer of 1932 due to the presence of swamplands and whether the route should be shifted elsewhere. By the fall of 1933, state engineers concluded the route could continue north on its planned alignment through the swamps north of Route 4.
The State Highway Department, in a letter to the Council, considered it unnecessary to go to great expense to drain the swamp near the Route 2-Route 4 intersection. The Mosquito Commission will be advised to investigate the situation and do such work as essential for public health.
Once Route 4 was extended north, motorists could weave at the Cloverleaf with relative ease. However, as traffic increased over the next few decades, gaps shrank for weaving cars, bringing traffic to a crawl as motorists fought to switch between the looping ramps and the highways. Hundreds of accidents occurred per year, an average of one per day.
Confusion at the entrance to the Route 2 Cloverleaf is responsible for a large number of accidents. Theoretically perfect from the standpoint of permitting a steady, uninterrupted division of traffic at an overpass junction of two arteries, it is assumed that traffic proceeding straight ahead will be to the left and cars using the leaf will be at the right. It is not hard to picture the resulting snarl if one single car wanders into the wrong lane.
Calls for a new interchange between the two highways began in the 1960s and progressed into the 1970s. Funding for the project was defeated twice during the decade, and little progress was made. Trailblazer signs were erected, but did little to cure the traffic backups. By the early 1990s, talks again heated up as funding finally became available to relieve congestion at the obsolete interchange. Ultimately, engineers decided to erect two long flyovers from Route 17 over the Cloverleaf. Former Paramus Mayor Charles E. Reed had suggested, as far back as the 1960s, that a three-level interchange was the best solution to relieve the gridlock at the Cloverleaf. He turned out to be right. On Route 4, collector-distributor roads were added in order to separate through traffic from vehicles seeking to access the interchange. Several bridges were rebuilt to accommodate the additional lanes, and a small interchange was constructed just west of Route 17 to provide direct access between IKEA and Garden State Plaza. Before Route 2 was completed, motorists used Route 4 to Paramus Road, which was the original alignment of Route 17, and then turned onto Franklin Turnpike towards Suffern, New York. Construction resumed on Route 2 in the fall of 1933. North of the Cloverleaf, the state constructed the rest of Route 2 as a four-lane divided highway, anticipating a cascade of vehicles from Route 4 due to the recently opened George Washington Bridge.
The new road is composed of two 20-foot strips as highway, with an island in the middle and a 40-foot graded strip on each side, giving a total width of 120 feet. The Highway Department has spent $28,000 seeding and sodding the island and the sides of the road.
Before Route 2 was even completed, the highway incurred a high accident rate. The many island openings, with their lack of left turn lanes and lack of controlled intersections, with the exception of a few traffic circles, made crossing the highway a nerve-wracking chore fraught with danger, particularly on weekends with interstate vehicles flying down the new highway.
The highway is little used on weekdays. Its largest clients during the 5-day period are milk and produce trucks en route to the New York City markets. On Saturdays and Sundays, the highway is brimming with a flood of cars of New York registration. It is a foregone conclusion that with the opening of Route 2 throughout its full length, that the highway will become heavily traveled. People living in this section are often forced to cross at the various crossings from here to Ramsey, and the small traffic circles placed at the various crossings afford no protection for local residents when the through traffic is the heaviest. They must either wait long minutes for a break in traffic, which during the summer months will never come, or take their chances with death by forcing their way across the busy highway.
Municipalities along the new superhighway hounded the state to install traffic lights at the busiest intersections. Initially, the state hesitated, claiming traffic lights would hinder the free flow of traffic. But as accidents increased, the state reluctantly began installing traffic lights to retard the flow of marauding vehicles, permitting motorists a chance to cross safely. In 1942, Route 2 was switched back to its original Route 17 designation to align with New York State's Route 17 and to provide a singular path for military vehicles. In the 1950s, the state of New Jersey began widening the northern stretches of Route 17 to 6 lanes and constructed more overpasses.
One contract will extend the 6-lane dualization of Route 17 in Fairlawn and Paramus, Bergen County, from the Ramapo River to Franklin Turnpike, a distance of 2.71 miles. The work will include the construction of a viaduct over the Ramapo River and Ramapo Valley Road, and a bridge over the Erie Railroad for the new roadway.
Towards the end of the 1950s, both Midland Avenue and Century Road were elevated over Route 17, most likely due to the presence of the Garden State Parkway.
As part of the Midland Avenue Overpass project, the Highway Department will further its program of closing existing center island openings. 4 such existing breaks in the Route 17 center island, within a distance of 1,200 feet on each side of the Midland Avenue intersection, will be closed. Route 17 drivers wishing to reverse their direction upon completion of the project will be required to use the proposed overpass to do so.
Throughout the 1960s, the state was pressured by citizens to continue closing all the center islands on Route 17. Some citizens even took matters into their own hands and erected barriers to close them off. Throughout the 1960s and into the early 1970s, the state continued elevating cross streets over Route 17. Several traffic circles, or death traps as some refer to them, were also removed or modified throughout the 1960s and 70s and were replaced with overpasses or traffic signals. While conducting my research, I was shocked to discover a trucker named Albert D. Bergeron crashed 2 times within 2 years at the Racetrack Road Circle, or Dead Man's Circle as it was known to locals. The second time the man wasn't so lucky and he perished.
You're an idiot!
By the 1970s, most of Route 17 had been widened to 3 lanes in each direction. The very last traffic light at Lake Street in Ramsey was deactivated by 1989, a great year.
You can't touch it.
In 1947, a drive-in was built off of Route 4 just west of the Paramus Cloverleaf. The drive-in instantly became a popular attraction and outlasted most of the other drive-ins throughout New Jersey, flourishing into the mid-1980s. This aerial, taken in the very early 1950s, shows the wooded area east of the drive-in being cleared to make way for Garden State Plaza. Notice the original path of Sprout Brook through the area and how developers actually rerouted the brook so that the mall could be built. I'm not an environmentalist, but I personally feel waterways should never be diverted from their natural course. By the mid-1980s, most drive-ins throughout New Jersey had disappeared as land prices continued to soar throughout the most densely populated state in the country.
Last year, the Route 3 drive-in in Rutherford was sold to make way for office construction. The 13-acre site reportedly brought about $200,000 an acre. Dollinger said that similar financial pressures probably will force the sale of the Paramus drive-in, which sits on several acres adjoining the Garden State Plaza.
Just as the news article had predicted, the drive-in closed in the late 1980s and was demolished. Today, it is nothing more than a parking lot. Sadly, there are no remnants of the old drive-in. If any of you made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you feel so inclined, please hit the like button or consider subscribing to my humble Road Geek channel. We'll be back soon.